Good morning, gang. Happy Friday morning. Yes, my turn to get sick. Patera got sick, now I'm getting sick. So got a sore throat yesterday, and now I've got the stuffy head and everything from it. I think it's just from contact with all sorts of people and running around ragged, but I'll get through it. Today is our big food delivery from Food City, so after I finish making this video, get this up to you guys, I will be heading out to Newport to pick up that truck at about 9:30, and then pick up the truck with baby formula at around 10 or 10:30. So that's the plan for today. But it's kind of interesting going out there yesterday. And to give you an idea, yesterday was when we had the pet food delivered. And to everybody's great surprise, there was cat food as well as dog food. So that was good. So all those guys asking, don't forget the cats. Fortunately, lucky, we got cat food too. I don't know how much. I wasn't sitting here counting pallets. I mean, it was a truck and a half. But you'll see the pictures here over the weekend on just the insane amount of food. I mean, we took up an entire corner of this warehouse with just diapers and pet food. That was how crazy it was. But to give you an idea, just a little bit of what's going on, because we're hearing all the stories on the news of the weakness and ineffectiveness of FEMA's response from the Republican side. And of course, the Democrats are saying, oh, it's going great. Joe came out and said, oh, everybody's happy. The states are getting everything they need, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? The Democrats are saying, oh, Trump's lying about this. He's got to say, no, he's not, okay? And I can tell you this from seeing it with my own two eyes. And I want to give you exactly what I saw yesterday. And Mrs. P took pictures of it. I'm putting that together. I'm not going to put it in this video because I just don't have time to do all that edit work this morning. But so I told you the other day on how the original drop-off site on Broadway that we went to last Tuesday in Newport was bustling like crazy. The cars were 50 cars deep, 24/7, according to what Diane was saying. We got out there were people in line like crazy, getting water, getting food, whatever. We pulled in. The sheriff was on a forklift helping us unload, and everybody was going nuts, right? It was a well-oiled machine. And then the other day, FEMA came in and said, we're shutting you down. We're taking all this stuff to Bristol. I told you this story. So, okay. But that was what was going on there. So yesterday, we went to the church warehouse, which is where the town all decided, okay, forget it. If you're going to do this and take all the donations, we're moving and we're going to put it in the church warehouse. And they cleaned out a warehouse. Think of the effort that takes. Clean out a warehouse. This place is enormous, guys. And overnight to get this done a few days ago. So we got in yesterday. We actually helped the last bits of remnants moving these huge sheets of aluminum and stuff like that, like building type stuff, vent pipes and stuff. We helped a little bit with that at the end to get more space made. But so we got there at 8 o'clock yesterday morning, and the people were just showing up. It was very quiet, pulled truck right in. There were a couple of trucks in the parking lot. We got our first truck in. We got that unloaded. We were out of there by about 9:15, 9:30 maybe it was. And myself and Kyle and Joel and Mrs. P and Diane decided we're going to go get a cup of coffee and we had to go meet our other truck that was coming in. When the other truck got in at 11 o'clock and we took him back, we got back to the church warehouse. The church warehouse was utter chaos. I mean, there were, I kid you not, thousands of people there and hundreds of cars. There was nowhere for us to park. The truck, of course, could get into the loading dock. I had to park out on the street outside the warehouse, outside the fence, because there was nowhere else to put my truck. It was packed. And we got the truck in and we got unloaded. On the way home, coming back yesterday afternoon, we drove down Broadway right past the old distribution place. I kid you not, it was a freaking ghost town. There were still lines of pallets of stuff, some food, some water. Obviously, FEMA hadn't stolen it all yet. There was not a single car in line to pick up water. There was one person walking through this entire huge parking lot. And remember, this is an old grocery store that they were using the old grocery store as the warehouse and the parking lot as distribution. There was nobody there to get anything. They had one of those big highway marker signs up there, it usually says, detour or something. It said, water distribution, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. This was like 2 o'clock we drove by. Not a single person, okay? It was dead. The people realize that FEMA's not helping. They want nothing to do with FEMA. And the people all went to volunteer at the church, to donate at the church. The warehouse we're going to is not letting the public come in to get the stuff. How they're doing all this is all the stuff is donated there. It's separated into clothing or tools or people food or pet food or baby food or, yes, I know babies are people. Don't misconstrue that. And then the churches, the individual churches, come in with their trucks, their trailers or whatever, and they pick up whatever they need to distribute to their congregation from their church. It makes it a lot easier because now we've got separate places. It doesn't become utter chaos with people trying to come in and go out at the same time. But so all this stuff that you hear about FEMA helping and FEMA doing great, I'll just say this. The very first time FEMA showed up in Newport, Tennessee, was to steal all the donations we had. Other than that, talking to God knows how many people yesterday, FEMA was never here. Ever. Okay? And a lot of these volunteers are the same people that volunteered down at Broadway, and they said FEMA was never there. Okay? So yes, when Biden's saying that people are happy, that's an absolute lie. When Biden is saying that people are getting what they need, that's an absolute lie, at least from FEMA. People are getting what they need from the individuals, from the community, from you guys, from wherever it's coming from. I mean, countless people here, on this channel and all sorts of other groups. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's companies, it's individuals, it's, knitting clubs, whatever, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the guy here in town who put a U-Haul truck in his driveway and said, pack it, that sort of stuff. That's where it's all coming from. That's the relief that is coming here to our area. And I've got to assume it's similar in other areas like Mountain City or everywhere around Asheville or something like that, that the aid is coming from the people. The aid is not coming from the federal government. Do not, for 1 second, believe anything that comes out of Joe Biden's mouth, Kamala Harris's mouth, Alejandro Mayorkas's mouth, that FEMA is doing a good job. If FEMA's doing everything they can, then everything they can is nothing. They are not helping. They are actually in the way of getting stuff done. That's how bad it is. I mean, and you can go find countless stories on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, where the people on the ground are saying the same thing, that if FEMA wants to help, what they could do is just get out of the way. They're causing more problems than anything else. We're all taking care of this. You guys, me, other companies, other people, a community. That's what's happening. The federal government under Joe Biden, again, failed the American people massively this time. And now we get to have the recovery efforts from Milton. I'm hoping that there will be people down in Florida that were unaffected or minorly affected that will be able to help others in FEMA. I pray to God, or in FEMA, in the hurricane, I pray to God that there are, because if Florida is counting on help from FEMA, I guarantee you it ain't coming, okay? Fortunately, Florida has a very competent governor in Ron DeSantis, who every time some sort of disaster strikes, he has it under control. I gotta say that's better than Bill Lee here in Tennessee. Not a Bill Lee fan, okay? Rhino. Definitely better than Roy Cooper. DeSantis has got his shit together, and Florida will come together. Florida got whacked worse than Tennessee, North Carolina did. 2 million people without power down there. You know, we had about 1.5 million in our area. But everything that we are doing is what's saving these people's lives. I know I've got tons of emails from you guys, tons of messages in the comments, in the chat, whatever, about doing more, and that you got motivated to do something. Thank you. This is what it's going to take. The people down in the Southeast have known their entire lives, you can't trust the government. The government will bend you over every chance they get. And they're proving it again. The rest of the country needs to learn. Everybody needs to understand. We cannot count on the government coming to help. The people that believe the government's going to help are toast. They're speed bumping, as I usually call them. You know, boom, boom, we're done. Life goes on. Sorry, you're vulture bait at that point. But keep remembering here, guys, is when the chips are down, the government ain't coming. Your neighbor is who's going to save your butt. Have a good one. Pinball out.